Thank you for joining us. President Trump says there could be an update on U.S.-Iran talks within days. It comes as the Central Command says the U.S. blockade against Iran ports has been effective. Joining us now live is NTD's White House correspondent, Iris Tao. Iris, good afternoon. So what is the latest on that?
Good afternoon to you as well. So President Trump today in a phone interview with the New York Post telling them that something could happen with U.S.-Iran talks in the capital of Pakistan over the next 2 days. And also reiterates the fact that the U.S. must make sure that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. And that's his number one precondition to a potential peace deal with Iran. Meanwhile, actually, in that interview, President Trump also telling New York Post that discussions were happening, but a little bit slow. And that's also when he suggested, actually, before telling New York Post that talks will happen in Pakistan previously, that he said it might happen in Europe as well. So a lot of eyes still on where exactly and when exactly upcoming talks will happen. As we know, over the weekend, that first round of in-person talks with Iran did not yield a deal after all. But also the president yesterday at the White House telling reporters that Iran has reached out and they want a deal badly. Here's what he said. Watch.
I can tell you that we've been called by the other side. They'd like to make a deal very badly, very badly. If they don't agree, there's no deal. There'll never be a deal. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, and we're going to get the dust back.
And Don, there's some diplomatic breakthrough on another front, also related to the Middle East, and that is Lebanese and Israeli officials today met in Washington, D.C. at the State Department, along with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Rubio calling this meeting historic as the first high-level meeting between Lebanon and Israel over the 40 years. And Rubio saying that it's an important meeting as it could bring a permanent end to 20 or 30 years of Hezbollah's influence in the region. Here's what Rubio said. Watch.
Our hope here, and I know this will be a process, okay, all of the complexities of this matter are not going to be resolved in the next 6 hours, but we can begin to move forward and create the framework where something can happen, something very positive, something very permanent, so that the people of Lebanon can have the kind of future they deserve, and so that the people of Israel can live without fear of being struck by rocket attacks from the terrorist proxy of Iran.
Of course, this meeting comes at a very critical juncture amid a fragile ceasefire in the Middle East between the U.S. and Iran. Iran was demanding that Lebanon be included in the ceasefire agreement between the U.S. and Iran, but we have heard from U.S. officials saying that that was not part of the initial ceasefire deal. So a lot to be seen on whether Lebanon or Israel could come to an agreement between themselves in the next few days.
Okay, thank you for updating us, Iris.
Of course.
And U.S. stocks are up this afternoon after pushing closer to record highs.